Hello, my name is Grigory Lutsenko. I am the head of AML Department at Coredo. Today we are going to talk to you about travel rule. Let's find out what it is and what you need to do. Subscribe to our channel, put a bell to not miss new videos. In 1996, the FATF, among its recommendations, state that it would be a good idea for actors in the financial sector to share information about the sender and the recipient of the payment. Over time, this recommendation was implemented in the law of many countries, but it only applied to payment transfers. In 2019, FATF updated their recommendation, adding virtual assets there. And now, the last day of 2024 has come and the transfer funds regulation came into force in the European Union. Let's get to the bottom of what it is. So, the travel rule, and specifically for the European Union it is TFR, is a requirement that obligates financial institutions to transmit sender and recipient information. This information must be transmitted with every transaction transfer, which allows for the tracking of funds flow and improves the ability to identify suspicious transactions. In this video, we will look at aspects from European Union perspective. Let's start with who falls under these requirements. The TFR itself specifies the concept of payment service provider and crypto asset service provider. These are persons transferring funds on behalf of the sender or the recipient. Payment service provider refers to the person listed in the PSD, namely credit institution, payment institution, electronic money institutions, and others. Hereinafter we will use PSP to refer to these persons. And by crypto asset service provider is means companies that have a MiCA license. Hereinafter we will use CASP to refer to these persons. Also, TFR mentions intermediary payment service provider and intermediary crypto asset service provider. These are persons who are PSP or CASPs, but are not PSP or CASP with respect to the originator and beneficiary, and make the transfer of funds on behalf of originators or beneficiaries, PSP or CASP. Thus, obligated persons are PSP and CASP and intermediary PSP and CASP. Let's move on to the most important thing. First, we will look at payment transfers. When making a payment, the payer PSP must transmit information to the payer PSP. Let's visualize this in the diagram. So we have a payer's PSP and payer PSP. The payer PSP must transmit the following payer information: name, payment account number, or if there is none, a unique payment identifier, address, identification document number, identification number or date and place of birth, LEI number or other identifier. And the payer PSP should receive this information. Also, the payer PSP must transmit the following information about payer: name, payment account number, or if none, a unique payment identifier, LEI number or other identifier. Without these actions, making of payment is prohibited. At the same time, before the payment is made, the payer's PSP need to verify the payer's information, which means identification and control measures in accordance with AMLD and local law. Let's look at the conditions for within European Union payments. In case all actors in the transfer chain are established in the European Union, then the payment must be accompanied by at least the payment account number of the payer and the payee, or if none exist, a unique payment identifier, let me just say identifier, but the payer PSP must provide information to the payer's PSP within 3 business days. For payments over 1,000 euro, the payer's PSP within 3 business days of the payer's PSP request must provide the full package of information that we discussed earlier and also verify the payer's information. And for payments less than 1,000 euro, payers and payer's name, payers and payer's payment account number or identifier. And unless there is a reason to suspect money laundering or the funds were not obtained in cash or in the form of anonymous electronic money, there is no need to verify payer information. What about payments outside the European Union? All information must be transmitted. And also when the payment amount is less than 1,000 euros, only payers and payers name, payment account number of the payer and payee or identifier. And if there are no reasons to suspect money laundering or the funds were not received in cash or in the form of anonymous electronic money, there is no need to verify the information about the payer. And there is a new concept used here, batch payment. This is a bundling together of several individual money transfer or transfer of crypto assets for transferring together, and where the beneficiary's PSP is established outside the European Union, and when making a batch payment from a single payer, the obligation to transmit payer information for individual payments does not apply, but the obligation to collect and verify information of each individual payment does not apply. And you can ask, well, we have transmitted this information or received it, so what else? And next we will look at the requirements for the payer's PSP. First, the payer's PSP must ensure that the incoming data is checked to ensure that the information is filled in using the character or inputs allowed under the convention of the system. Second, the payer PSP must ensure that the incoming data is monitored for any missing data on the payer and payee. The TFR considers 3 options for required data for the payer's PSP. The first is to receive payment from the payer's PSP if it is established in the European Union. In this case, you need to verify all the information that the payer's PSP has to give you. This has been explained earlier. The second is to receive payment from the payer's PSP if it is established outside the European Union. In such a case, the following information about the payer must be received: name, payment account number or identifier, address, identification document number, identification number or date and place of birth, as well as the payer's details: name, payment account number or identifier. And the third option is to receive a batch payment from the payer's PSP if it is established outside the European Union. In this case, the following information about the payer of the batch payment must be verified: name, payment account number or identifier, address, identification document number, identification number or date and place of birth, as well as the payer's details: name, payment account number or identifier. And there are 2 more rules. So, if the payment amount exceeds 1,000 euros, the payer's details must also be verified before the funds are deposited or made available to the payer. And if the amount does not exceed 1,000 euro and if there are no grounds for suspicion of money laundering, or if the funds will not be provided in cash or in the form of anonymous electronic money, there is No need to verify the payee's information. So, what do we do if the information is missing, incomplete, or filled out incorrectly? Then there are two options: reject transaction or request the necessary information from the payer's PSP. The transfer funds regulations indicates that it is necessary to develop a process for requesting information from the payer's PSP. And in the event that the information is finally not provided, then any transfers from that vendor should be rejected. In addition, the competent authority should be informed of the failure to provide the information and of the steps taken to obtain the information. Now let's move on to virtual assets. Everything is basically the same here, but with some differences. First, transaction funds regulation does not classify crypto payments into within EU and outside EU transactions and have they are classified into payment between CASPs and payment between CASP and self-hosted address. We said earlier that a CASP refers to a person who holds a MiCA license, and self-hosted address means a wallet what is not opened by CASP or a person established outside the European Union and conduct activities similar to CASP. When transferring cryptocurrency, the originator's CASP must transmit the following information about the originator: name, wallet address or wallet number or an identifier, address, document number, identification number or date and place of birth, LEI number, as well as the following information about the beneficiary: name, wallet address or number or identifier, LEI number. This information must be transmitted before, at the same time, or in parallel with the transfer. And the information about the originator must be verified. Now let's consider a transfer to a self-hosted address. In this case, it is necessary to get all information described earlier from the client and keep it. And when making transfer of more than 1,000 euros, it is necessary to take measures to confirm that this wallet is owned or controlled by the originator. Theoretically, this means that the originator and the beneficiary must be same person. Further, before the payment is made, the originator's CASP needs to verify the originator. Without these actions, making the payment is prohibited. Next, the beneficiary CASP. First, the beneficiary CASP must ensure checking of incoming data. Second, the beneficiary CASP should ensure that the incoming data is monitored for any missing data on the originator and beneficiary. And let's also review the information that the beneficiary CASP needs to receive. When transferring between CASPs, you need to get all information that the originator's CASP has to transmit. And in case the beneficiary's CASP receives crypto from a self-hosted address, it needs to collect the same information. And also in case the transfer amount exceeds 1,000 euros, there is need to verify beneficiary and take measures to confirm that this wallet is owned or controlled by the beneficiary. Theoretically, this means that, again, the originator and the beneficiary should be the same person. In case the provided information is missing or incomplete, then it is necessary to reject the transfer and return the virtual assets to the originator's wallet, or request originator and beneficiary information before providing the crypto assets to the beneficiary. It should be noted that for CASP it is not specified the information should be requested from the originator's CASP, and theoretically it can be requested from the client. and about the return of crypto to the originator. The transaction funds regulation specifies exactly the return to the crypto assets account, but this concept applies only to accounts that are opened with those who have a MiCA license. And if you send crypto from a self-hosted address, it is possible that you won't get it back. CASP also needs to develop a procedure for requesting information as well as take measures to control the information received. In the event that the information is finally not provided, any transfer from that CASP or others should be rejected. In addition, the competent authority should be informed of the failure to provide the information and the steps taken to obtain the information. Well, that's basically it.
Wait a minute!
And the main question is how to transfer this information. Well, if for PSPs this requirement is not new and there are already known tools for information transfer, most likely SWIFT or SEPA, then for crypto companies this is completely new requirements. And various providers of such services will help you with this. You can contact us and we will find a provider that fully satisfies your needs. Now it's definitely over. If you still have questions or want to learn more, feel free to leave a comment and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for being with us.